to our new episode of the Brussels Lunch Talks right from the European Parliament. We are today with MP Lukas Sieper, one of the youngest members of the European Parliament from Germany and co-founder of the Partei des Fortschritts. Lukas, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We are going to tackle a very important topic today for European democracy, which is how can citizens become participants in policymaking instead of being just spectators of policymaking. So, Lukas, as I said, you are one of the youngest MPs, so this puts you in a very good position to assess whether the EU is keeping pace with the youth, or if there is still a significant gap between the EU and the younger generations.
I think the good message is that in communication, the EU is keeping pace more and more, especially the social media formats they use, the communication techniques that they use become more modern and modern. But where the EU, in my opinion, is still completely lacking behind is taking in the political interests of young people when we talk about housing, when we talk about education. I mean, with Erasmus Plus, it's every year a fight if the budget stays, or some people even want to reduce it. So at least the EU gives the young people now a good feeling, but it has to live up a little bit more to the reality behind this feeling.
Mm-hmm. So maybe tackling more the topics they are interested in. Okay.
Exactly.
So I will follow up a bit with what you just said on communication. You said that the EU was using more and more social media. But do you think, because you also do a lot of social media, do you think it is possible to use these platforms without losing credibility and depth? Or how do you see that?
I think it's a bit dangerous, and it's a bit more difficult for an institution, like for a single politician, because I also do all this funny stuff, right? And this trends and literal TikTok dances, and this gets me then the audience to push for my actual political message. Now, this is already something that many people see critical, but I'm still just me. I think the institution has to live up to a higher sense of honor and dignity. And so, for example, I saw the EP Munich posted an Instagram video of just 4 interns dancing in front of the European Parliament, right? And I think they can do that, but they should also try to develop more informative formats. And now information content is kind of dead on social media, so that's the difficulty for them. But I believe the EU institution, if anyone, has the obligation to develop it in a way where it can go viral again. And I also think they should put way more emphasis on posting real political speeches as the parliament. They only do this very rarely of speeches by the president, or speeches that are like of very viral topics. For example, the speech of the colleague when they concluded the thing with the phone chargers, that it's all USB-C now.
Yeah.
They posted that on TikTok. It was a very nice edit, and it went super viral. I think they should post close to all speeches that are somewhat important, so that people actually get the feeling that this is a parliament and not just a parliament's account run by some interns.
Okay, yeah, true. I will go on back a bit on more on personal questions. So you were at a very young age politically involved because you co-founded your own party. And we would like to have your advice for young people who want to make a change, and where should they start, from your experience?
I think if you want to start, you should really start within a party, a political party. I strongly believe in the importance of advocacy and civil movements, but in the end, we are a party-based system. And also the big problem that we have right now through all of Europe is that the majority of the population is not members of a political party. So I think they really should join a party. And of course, I would be very happy if they join the Party of Progress, but any democratic party, or even found their own party, like I did with the Party of Progress. So you need to organize in a certain way. And then I think they should start with one single project. And what I did and what I would recommend is start with a political topic within and do something within a political party, but more on the charity side of things. So if you, for example, are interested as a young person in the topic of housing, then go around and give food to the homeless,
Okay.
basically. Yeah, as your first little project. It's super easy to organize. You just call up 10, 15 friends, you go to the supermarket, you buy the food, you give the food out to the homeless people, and you do a few little videos saying, hey, we are doing this today with the Party of Progress to show that housing is a problem in Europe, and we want to change that. So then you will, once you're in, things will come. Like the hard thing with politics is not finding something to do or finding a project. The hard thing is really like the first step. So join a political party, like I did with the Party of Progress, or create a political party like I did with the Party of Progress, and then start with some small low-grade project, charity-based, and then just go forward from there on.
Okay. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
I will go back to something more general. So we're talking about the fact that the EU is maybe disconnected from the population and from the young people, but it has created some tools like the European Citizens Initiative and the European Citizens Panels. And how do you see, what is your opinion on these tools? Like, are they able to really involve people in policy making, and maybe what would you like to see improved in these tools?
So I think they're both brilliant ideas that are very weak in reality. So the European Citizens Panel is a very good thing for citizens to voice their opinions, but the problem that I see first is that many people have trouble to understand who is actually, how do you get on this panel? How do you qualify? And then I wonder sometimes, the people that we send there, are they just representative of society, which is of course very important, but are they also multipliers? Yeah? So for example, if you ask me, I would fill the whole European Citizens Panel with different content creators and influencers who represent really a certain part of the citizenship.
Do also have like influencers or observers, but not participants in themselves. But
Exactly. Yeah. So that's that. And then with all these panels and boards and councils that exist, I always see the same problem. They bring them there, they let them talk, they listen to them, and that's it. There is no obligatory follow-up on what's discussed there and the opinions that are created there. And that, then I think it's more show than anything else, and that I really don't like. So I believe in any of this citizen participation forums, there should be an obligatory follow-up. That does not mean that whatever is discussed there needs to be put into legislation, but at least a process should start. Like, for example, if you have a European Citizens Panel on defense, and they come to a conclusion, this should be then a motion within the Defense Committee. And what the Defense Committee does with it, it's still up for the elected representatives, but if there is no follow-up, nothing, and you can do it in other formats as well, but if there's no follow-up, it's just talking. And the ECI is a little bit the same thing. So it's a brilliant thing that citizens can basically express their wish for a certain legislation. They go out, they collect the signatures, which is an incredible deed. And it can work, but yeah, then we see the weakness. Like, we had the very big success of My Voice, My Choice, right? Which will now which is now in the negotiations to become actual legislation, because the Commission was on board with it. Now we have the Stop Killing Video Games, ECI, which collected the signatures, which came to the hearing in Parliament and had like support of everyone. I think there was no one in all of Parliament who was against that. Even the radicals were in favor of it, which is very rare for decent ideas. And then the Commission just said, oh no, we don't see room for legislation here. And that's the end. That's the ECI is over. And okay, now we, the politicians, we jumped on that, and the European Parliament, we will push for the ideas and the content behind it. But legally speaking, the proceeding of the ECI is over with a negative statement from the Commission. And I think that shows how weak this tool actually is, if the Commission can just say, nah, and then then it's done. So I believe we have some tools, but those tools are, they are too weak, and they allow the relevant institutions just to go on like nothing ever happened once they're put into action.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
I will now ask you a last question. So, if you could redesign one aspect of how the EU communicates and involves citizens, like what would it be? What would be the first thing you could change? You would change, and like, would it be related to these tools because you have a lot of criticisms, or would it be something else?
I would definitely reform the ECI in a way where the successful ECI after the hearing and maybe not a vote in the relevant committee, but I would rather actually not. So I would design it in a way where the successful ECI is directly a motion for resolution in plenary. So once they collect the signatures, the plenary votes about the resolution. Of course, then with all the amendment power and everything, a normal parliamentary process. I would quadruple at least the budget and staff of the communication teams of all relevant EU institutions, especially the Parliament. And I would give slots to speak for citizens in plenary. Maybe one or two citizens per debate. Just have a speaking time in the beginning. And last but not least, I think the EU should also transform the Eurobarometer into a very big social media campaign.
Okay.
So go around and do this classical street interviews, asking people of their opinions, but as EU.
Okay, very nice. Thank you very much, Lukas, for discussing about youth participation, citizens' engagement, and the future of European democracy.
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.